up.
When I first read about you, you think this woman's going to be a crazy woo-woo hippie in the woods.
That's what everybody thinks.
Gallipoli, you're not allowed in here.
How going off-grid in Italy
It's just a bucket.
Is it unhygienic?
Absolutely not.
tore this Australian family apart.
Wish I never came here.
The children taken from their parents
These children are in perfect health.
because of the way they wanted to live.
Why not just comply?
We were not going to do things that were going to damage our children.
That's next on 60 Minutes. It's as distressing as it is incomprehensible. 3 Australian children locked behind these gates in the southern Italian region of Abruzzo for almost 4 months. Local authorities believe this foster care facility is safer than their own home, where they were being raised totally off the grid, with no running water, electricity or formal schooling.
What I am fighting is this very, very, very ignorant belief that what we have done to our children was wrong.
Astoundingly, authorities have decided Catherine Birmingham and Nathan Trevelyan are bad parents. So bad, in fact, late last year, they took the extreme step of removing their children. A dramatic and divisive move, which has sparked a global debate about who knows best, parents or the state.
Do the children understand why they're not allowed to live at home with mum and dad?
They understand that we live naturally, and they understand that a lot of people don't want to. Some not nice people don't like the way we live.
Catherine and Nathan insist their 8-year-old daughter and 6-year-old twins were thriving. However unconventional their choices may seem, their family was happy and healthy. But now they're trapped in a desperate and very public battle to win back their kids.
Anormali garantendo che ormai i figli hanno visto il meglio delle medicine.
Esatto.
Without losing the lifestyle they're so deeply committed to.
The court said send the kids to school, improve the living quarters. Why not do all those things?
We did say yes to a lot of things, but we were not going to do things that were going to damage our children.
From this small, isolated pocket of Italy, this story has captured the world's attention, and there's a very good reason why. It's about something universal, family, and a parent's right to choose how to raise their children. At the heart of this case is one critical question. What will cause these kids more harm? Growing up in the woods, off the grid, with no traditional schooling, or being forcibly separated from their mum and dad?
After you.
Thank you.
It's not everyone's idea of a dream home, but it's clear this is Nathan's castle.
Okay, so welcome to Amelia.
The house is called Amelia.
Yeah.
What a great name.
Yeah.
The family bought their patch of paradise 5 years ago for €20,000, which is just over 30,000 Australian dollars.
So is this electricity?
Yes, this is running off a solar panel.
But you're not connected to power or the meter?
We're not connected, no.
This is where your meals are prepared?
Yes, yeah. My wife spends all her mornings cooking generally. I do it once a week. This is our wood stove oven.
It feels like it's actually giving off a bit of...
Yeah, well, I lit it and it's been lit for, I don't know, 4 hours or so. And of course, it keeps this half of the house warm all day long.
Well, you need that. I mean,
Yeah.
it is cold.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, for cooking, you know, we eat porridge in the morning, cooking in the midday, heating up water for washing up and washing and all that. Gallipoli, you're not allowed in here, eh?
If this household wasn't at the centre of such a serious legal dispute, it would almost be comical.
This is Lee, the horse.
Lee the horse, yeah.
Hi, Lee.
He would often just pop his head in.
Yeah. come and say good morning?
Despite the interruptions, the tour doesn't take long. There's only one other room.
So, this is the bedroom where we all sleep together.
Okay.
I'll just turn the lights on. Again, we have LED lights in here running off the solar panel.
Yep.
Yes, plenty for our needs.
So it's very cosy.
Yeah, very cosy, very cosy. We're very happy all sleeping together.
It must feel pretty quiet at the moment.
Yeah, right now it just feels empty. Empty. There's no laughter, there's no joy, there's no children.
Neither of you grew up off the grid, right?
Yeah, but we camped. We were, great campers.
Yeah,
But it's different to like permanently living this way.
Yeah.
So what drew you to this way of living?
The base philosophy behind it for us is that the children are growing up in this environment where they have freedom with a boundary.
You wake up in the morning and do whatever you feel like doing. We don't have to run out the door to take the children to school. It's just a very relaxed way of waking up, eating breakfast together as a family, and continuing through the day. So this was built by the children.
Really?
Instead of school, Catherine and Nathan practice what they describe as parental education.
Took a few logs and stuff that they found around and built themselves a little hut.
Drawing inspiration from the Steiner system, which rejects early academics in favour of creativity.
So how would you teach them literature, mathematics?
Okay, so they're already getting introduced to reading because since they're babies, they're getting read books every single night. Mathematics is just a standard. You're always counting, you're always doing these things, especially when you're cooking, when you're building things, when they're helping daddy with the tools or building stuff. Alphabet, letters is always in their minds with blocks, letters, numbers on the blocks and so forth.
Do you not worry that by depriving them of a formal education, you're taking away choices for them later in life?
I love that question because I've challenged myself on that question for years. We're actually giving them more opportunities in their future because they haven't been suppressed and confined to one limited form of thinking.
Nathan, a former chef, spends his days keeping the place going, while Catherine, once a horse trainer, now runs a life coaching business.
You're getting up because you want to do it. You want to go and let the animals out. You want to go and clean the stable. You want to go and get the vegetables.
I mean, you do know that for most people, the idea of no flushing toilet, coffee machine, hot water is not particularly desirable.
Yeah.
Do you know the flushing toilet is the least of the changes that we've made that would be more physical work? Mm-hmm. In fact, if anything, it's I don't have to clean the toilet.
Yeah.
It's less work.
They do have a compost toilet, a short walk from the house.
It's just a bucket that gets filled up, and you do your number twos and just cover it with organic material.
Yep.
Straw, hay or leaves.
Okay. And then
the
presumably
bucket,
you
when it's
empty
full,
it?
I empty it to another area where it sits for a year and a half.
Yep.
And compost down. This will go onto the olive trees, fruit trees and olive trees, whereas the manure from the animals, that goes onto the vegetable patch.
This might be an obvious question, but why use a compost toilet?
Why do we use it?
Yeah.
To save water. Yeah.
How do the kids go with the compost toilet?
Fine.
Yeah. That's all they know,
No
I
problem
guess.
at all.
But it's been a big problem for authorities and has attracted the ire of the local Italian community.
So they're living a way that's really very unusual.
It's really unusual because everyone in Italy at this moment has a toilet. We are famous, we have toilet and even other things in the bathroom.
Toilets are important.
Toilet is very important.
Claudio Giambene has been a reporter for 15 years, but he's never covered a case as bizarre as the family in the woods.
So the first thing at the beginning was how these people couldn't have a toilet in their house because they remove the toilet in their house.
And have the compost toilet.
And they have the compost toilet because they always say the same thing. We want to live off-grid.
That means washing in an old tub using rainwater.
So this is where the kids wash?
Well, they wash in there, but that will be inside the house.
And you and Catherine?
We do the same. We just stand in there and just do like a strip wash. Yeah, we don't have a shower.
Why did you choose Italy to set up this lifestyle?
You know, now when people ask me that question now, all I think is I just wish I never came here. I chose Italy because, being from Melbourne, we've always grown up with Italians, and I was drawn to Abruzzo because Abruzzo was still an area and a region of Italy that was still quite pure. It hadn't been overtaken by the modern world yet and the industrial revolution of everything.
So it felt like a place you could live the way you wished.
Absolutely.
But they were wrong. Coming up, the mushroom poisoning incident that raised the alarm for authorities and ultimately tore this family apart.
A neighbor found them in a semi-conscious state, lying on the ground, and so called the police.
So I can see how much you're smiling just looking at these photos.
Because this was, our life was really good. And I say
Catherine Birmingham knows the way she and her husband Nathan were raising their children was unconventional. Off the grid, without power, running water, or traditional school. They were happily existing outside the system, contributing very little in taxes. But they never imagined their controversial lifestyle would cost them their children.
Yeah, the kids were really, really happy. They were thriving. They were really happy.
It's been 4 months since their 8-year-old daughter and 6-year-old twins were seized by authorities and moved into foster care.
They don't want any of it. They want home, they want their animals, they want their compost toilet.
In this truly confounding case, there are none of the usual allegations of abuse or neglect that typically trigger the removal of children from their parents. Instead, it was an extreme bout of food poisoning that drew the eyes of the local police, the Carabinieri, in September 2024.
We had been for a long time, for 3 years, picking edible mushrooms off our property, and honestly, we had just eaten too many in a few days. I made a really good sauce that day, and even the kids had 3 bowls. So we all ate.
And how sick were you?
Vomiting,
Yeah.
like, wow.
Vomiting, had diarrhea, and was starting to get heat flushes and starting to sweat. And at that point, I was like, yeah, call my neighbour to get an ambulance to our house.
Isn't there a contradiction in that, though? Like, we're not going to connect to the power grid and pay taxes and do all those things, but we'll use your ambulances.
We're not that closed off that we would not use hospitals.
They must have been really concerned about the welfare of the children or how sick they were.
No, it wasn't that. The Carabinieri called social services because they saw that we were living off-grid.
A neighbor found them in a semi-conscious state, lying on the ground, and so called the police, the Carabinieri, that is, healthcare. So much so that a helicopter rescue also arrived.
Local Mayor Giuseppe Masciulli is used to dealing with all manner of town problems. But nothing quite as extraordinary as this. While he feels for the family, he's adamant their way of life did not comply with Italian laws.
In Italy, inside a home there must be a toilet. In addition, the house had some damage. According to the Carabinieri, it was not safe from a structural point of view. In that circumstance, it was noticed that the children did not attend school and did not practice homeschooling, which is a recognized private way of educating children in Italy, but were actually practicing unschooling, which is not recognized by Italian law.
Authorities found your home to be inadequate, a dilapidated ruin without the necessary utilities.
Yeah. Well, the dilapidated ruin is definitely not. It had a few cracks in the walls where the old lime mortar has been falling out over the years. Structurally, it was stable. You know, the roof is fine. All the walls are standing. For us, it was nothing wrong with it.
Prosecutors also said your children were suffering from a lack of essential care because they had no paediatrician and were not attending school. Do you see medical treatment as school as essential care?
No. It came to a point where we thought there were too many checkups for the children. And unless there was something actually wrong with them, we didn't see the need to take them.
Could you see why the court said these things and was obviously so shocked and concerned about the welfare, the children?
Yes and no.
I can understand it, yeah.
You can?
I can understand it, yeah.
Yeah.
We can understand it from understanding the level of ignorance and unawareness of a different way of living life. There are multiple ways of living, and none of them is right or wrong unless there is a child that you actually can visibly see is malnutritioned, is suffering, is abused, is not getting all the things they need. These children are in perfect health.
When they returned home after the mushroom poisoning, Catherine and Nathan were ordered by the court to make some key changes to their lifestyle for the sake of the children.
Now, we were getting ready to, okay, well, you know, we'll attach to the water and we'll talk about the toilet thing. But I've always said to them, if you ever want to go into school, you go to school. They don't want to.
Well, I think if I said to my 9-year-old daughter, you can choose, she'd probably choose to stay home and play.
Yeah.
But I want her to...
Oh, whoa, that's the difference. Our children don't stay home and just play. Our children are staying home and constantly learning. They know how to sew. They know how to knit. They know how to chop wood. They know how to grow plants from seed. They're learning other life skills that every child that sits there playing with the toys is not learning.
Education is choice. Bottom line, having an education gives everyone a freedom to choose the sort of life that they want to go after.
Just cover it with organic material.
Yeah.
Psychologist Sandy Ray works with families in difficult situations. While she hasn't met Catherine and Nathan, she's reviewed their living arrangements and the court documents and classifies their parenting style as laissez-faire.
So laissez-faire parenting is parenting that's really actually child-driven, not adult-driven, essentially. So the children don't have to go to bed when they're asked to go to bed. They don't have to have baths when they don't want to have baths. They can eat and pick their food when they want to. And of course, if you're going back into mainstream society, rules and regulations aren't abided by, and you get a lot of resistance. The research tends to indicate that they have poor self-regulation, because it's my way, and if you tell me what to do, I'm going to have a hissy fit because I'm not used to being told what to do.
As court orders revealed, it wasn't just the lack of formal education that concerned authorities. It was the parents' lack of cooperation. They refused to meet with social workers or participate in parenting support activities and wouldn't allow mandatory health checks.
We did say yes to a lot of things, but we were not going to do things that were going to damage our children.
But is that your putting your ideology first?
It was
or your
putting our children first. It was putting our children first.
It was during this time the case started to make national headlines. The whole country was mesmerised, watching and waiting to see how the saga would play out.
How big is this story in Italy?
Yeah, this story began so big. I think it's the most viral news.
Claudio Giambene is a reporter for the country's national broadcaster, Radio Televisione Italiana.
Quel poco, sia con l'avvocato che in silenzio stampa.
He's been filing stories on the family's plight almost every day since they were taken to hospital.
Why is this family's case so compelling?
Because this family, they were completely lovely with their children. They were just against some rules. And their philosophy is a bit strange for Italian people because all Italian families want to put their children in the school.
Are they seen as quite extreme?
It's more than extreme. They seem like aliens. Aliens coming from a different era. They want to be free. They don't want to respect their rules. And the typical Italian behavior with some people coming from abroad is, if you don't want to stay here, you can go home. Why don't you go back to Australia?
Almost a year into the standoff with authorities, the situation took a dramatic turn. Last November, social services removed the 3 kids. They've been living in this foster care facility ever since, alongside other children in the care of the state. Catherine is allowed to stay upstairs, but she's only supposed to see her daughters and son at mealtimes. Nathan gets just 3 visits a week.
Been the toughest time of my life. You know, I feel like I'm out of control. I can't support my family right now. I can't help them.
After the break, 3 children brought up in the woods, now institutionalised and spiralling out of control.
The nightmares that my son wakes up with, horrific screams of terror. Mummy, help me, I'm scared.
It's always very happy feelings that I'm going down there to see my family, to see my children and my wife. This is the time of the week I look forward to.
3 times a week, Nathan Trevelyan makes this long and windy drive from his family's property in Italy's Abruzzo region to the foster home where his 3 young children are in the care of the state.
You get lots of cuddles and kisses?
Yeah. As soon as I get out of the car, I open my arms up. You know, I tell them how much I love them and miss them.
Nathan and his wife Catherine have been raising their children off the grid, living without running water, power or traditional schooling. They grow or produce as much of their own food as possible.
Get plenty of eggs?
Well, at the moment, you get about 3 or 4 a day, yeah.
And draw their water naturally from a nearby fountain.
Yeah, it tastes good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Clean?
Clean and no chlorine.
Last November, a court made an extreme decision, ruling their home was a dilapidated ruin without utilities. And there was a lack of education and healthcare for their 8-year-old daughter and 6-year-old twins. So the children were moved to foster care, while the court decides if they can be returned to their parents.
How are they coping?
Oh, they're completely, they're scribbling on the walls. They've gone mad. The nightmares that my son wakes up with in horrific screams of terror. Mummy, help me. I'm scared. I'm scared.
There will be people watching who will say, well, you've made your own bed. You have not taught these children. They've never had a sleepover. They've never gone to stay with other families. They don't know how to cope.
They have stayed with other...
Hang on, they have.
people.
Right, can I just, that's a very good question, but I need to gulp on this one.
Of course.
But you're talking about 3 healthy, happy, free, loved children being separated from their adults, their parents that they love. That is an immediate trauma.
By her own admission, Catherine isn't making things easy inside the foster home. She's discouraging the children from following some of the rules that don't align with her own parenting philosophies.
You've been told, have you not, to play the game,
Oh,
to do what they want you to do,
I did.
to comply,
I did.
best behaviour.
I did. The first month I did. And then I started to know I'm protecting my children now.
Do you think you're harming your own cause?
Absolutely not, because we've tried complying. You are a mother too, you will understand. There is only so much you can take watching your 3 children be manipulated, bullied, and then indoctrinated later. And then I have to keep complying and saying it's okay.
So you're not there saying, you mustn't use water.
Are you kidding me?
Power's the devil.
Do I seem like that? Does
No.
he seem like that kind of person?
When I first read about you, you know, you think, this woman's going to be a crazy woo-woo hippie in the woods.
That's what everybody thinks. Maybe I am, but
How does that sit with you?
well, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care what the world thinks of me.
She is too rigid. She is too rigid,
Do you mean uncompromising?
uncompromising.
She will not change her ways.
Never, never.
Reporter Claudio Giambene has closely followed every twist and turn of this extraordinary case. He says Catherine's attitude has cost her some public support.
Catherine is the hardest person I've ever met. She's always really hard. She's tough about everything. She has to try to do something different because she's going to lose her children.
But for psychiatrist Professor Tonino Cantelmi, Catherine's behaviour is understandable.
Relazione con un sistema come quello italiano.
She certainly struggles to relate to a system like the Italian one, full of difficulties.
Credo che in questo momento.
But she is not a person who opposes. She's a woman who was initially frightened, then pained, and today is desperate. And this can be mistaken for rigidity, but it is not.
Rigidità, ma non lo è.
After months of drama and delay, Catherine's greatest hope lies with Professor Cantelmi, one of Italy's leading experts in child welfare. He's spent hours assessing Catherine and Nathan and will advise the court in their defence.
And what is your assessment? Are they capable, responsible, loving parents?
Assolutamente sì.
Absolutely, yes. In reality, they are very good parents, very affectionate, very present.
Is the family being separated, in fact, the worst thing that could happen to the children?
We have realized that it is probably just like that. It is the worst situation for them. We have to do something to get this family back together.
Still ahead, from suburban Melbourne to the hills of southern Italy, Catherine's family's emotional mission to free the children.
For your sister and for the kids.
Walking away and leaving them sitting there. I'm sorry, it's just not right. It's not right.
This is the first time Catherine Birmingham has been home in almost 4 months.
Hey, honey.
Welcome home.
The Australian mother has been living almost an hour away to be close to her 3 children in foster care after losing her parental rights because of the unconventional, off-the-grid lifestyle the family was living on this property.
The worst part is the children are so upset that mummy's getting to come home.
Yeah.
But they know that we will get them home.
When the 3 kids were moved into the care of the state in November, Catherine negotiated a deal so she could live in the facility with them.
This is wardrobe.
But her husband Nathan wasn't welcome, so he's still living here at the family's property.
50 years ago, everybody was living like this.
Yeah.
They're desperate to get their children home, but they'll need to satisfy the court's demands by moving to a nearby house, which is connected to the power grid and running water, and following a stricter homeschooling regime.
Are you willing to meet every compromise to secure the release of your children?
We already have agreed to every compromise. We've already done everything. I've had my kids jabbed with vaccines.
Will you send them to school?
No.
So that's the deal breaker.
Well, we've already agreed to a maestra, a teacher, that she's coming there to the kids every week. She's the old school teaching of, that's wrong, yes, that's right.
Because you could homeschool, following a little bit more closely to the curriculum. There's a compromise there, isn't there?
But my question is, why should we have to compromise to make other people feel comfortable? Whereas we've educated ourselves, researched ourselves, and we're doing what we feel is best for our children, yet we're not out there telling everybody else, well, you shouldn't be doing that with your child.
There will be people watching who will think, gosh, if I was them, I would throw my beliefs out the window entirely to just get the kids back.
It's not about that. Regardless of what we say yes to, they're showing us that we are right. And
We have
you are
the
wrong.
children.
We have the children.
What Catherine can count on is the support of her family. Her mum, Pauline, and sister Rachel have travelled all the way from Melbourne to Italy to do whatever they can to help get the children back to their parents.
This is so wrong, when there was nothing wrong. That's what kills me.
The last time Pauline and Rachel were in Italy was 2 years ago, when they stayed in a caravan on the family's property and experienced what life is like here. Was there controversy within the family, or, gosh, they're not sending them to school? I mean, that must have been difficult to understand.
That's true. I did say to Catherine, look, Catherine, they have to go to school. You know, they've got to learn to read and write. And Catherine used to say, yes, she will. Whenever she wants to go, she can go. She said, but we're going to teach them this first, and then it's up to them what they want to do.
It's easier to say, oh, they're loonies, because if you inquired and understood a little bit more, maybe your world would be better and your lifestyle would be better, and your children may grow up better as well. So maybe it's just a balance, and it's not necessarily one way or the other.
Yeah. I mean, their way is extreme.
It is, yes, it is. And I agree, and I didn't understand it myself. Like, personally, I didn't understand it. But now that I've investigated and I understood and I lived it, I think there's a lot of benefit.
They never imagined they'd be visiting the family in a place like this. And while those first hugs were extra special, the reunion only reinforced just how serious and uncertain the situation is.
It was really emotional. Yeah, it was lovely, long time coming. It was a blessing to actually physically, you know, see Catherine, touch her, hold her, and actually feel her heartbeat and everything.
How hard is it for you, Pauline? Because as a mother, it doesn't matter if your daughter's 5 or 50.
That's true. That's
you know,
very
to
true.
see her like that and then to walk away and the gates closed behind her.
Sorry.
Take your time.
Just thinking back, walking away and leaving them sitting there. I'm sorry. It's just not right. It's not right.
Pauline and Rachel haven't been their only visitors at the foster home. Representatives from the Australian Embassy have also come here. But Catherine says they were unable to make any real difference, even though she and the children are citizens.
In terms of consular support, did you expect more as an Australian living
I'm so
overseas?
sorry. That has infuriated me so much. You know, this last resort was the Australian government. That killed me.
You feel Australia has let you down?
Oh, humanity in multiple ways has let us down.
More than a year into this nightmare, Catherine and Nathan have never felt further from home. The Australian government declined an interview with us, unwilling to interfere in another country's legal system. And that means the only way out of this mess is through the Italian courts.
If the parents are there in a loving environment, I don't understand how you can rip children away.
Psychologist Sandy Ray acknowledges Catherine and Nathan may need some support to get their home and homeschooling up to scratch. But even so, what really matters is the health and happiness of the children.
The children are not malnourished. The children don't have evidence of scabies or any other illness. They don't look like they've been sexually abused. They don't look like they're being physically abused.
Look, there's no doubt this is not everyone's cup of tea. But does that mean that it's a risk to the children's welfare?
So the idea of being off-grid or being in a house that perhaps not ideal for a lot of us, does that constitute significant psychosocial risks to the child's development? Well, if they're living in a family that is cohesive, loving, supportive, that is the most important thing. Family preservation out-trumps a house that is less than satisfactory in the living conditions.
Coming up, what's next for Catherine and Nathan if they get their children back?
Would you come back to Australia?
Italy's Adriatic coast is a beautiful part of the world, but the breathtaking view isn't the reason Catherine Birmingham and Nathan Trevelyan moved here.
Kids would love that. You should bring them here one time.
They came to live a simple life, off the grid, with their 3 young children. Instead, their family has been torn apart. Italian authorities removed their 2 daughters and son late last year, and they've been living in this foster home ever since.
What do you say to people who believe not sending the kids to school, depriving them of education, running water is a form of child abuse?
The child murderers, the crime rate from young children, society as it is today, the consumerism, the depression, all of these things stem from the base that we today think is the best thing for our kids.
Just to clarify, because, I mean, the world is a crazy and terrible place.
I know.
No one will argue with that. But you're not saying that a child who goes to school and has hot showers is going to turn into a murderer.
I'm not saying that they're going to turn into a murderer, but I am saying that you will find everything stems back to the base foundation of how children are growing up in this world. Going to school, going to get a job, all of those things is now completely distorted. It is creating criminals.
Ironically, the free lifestyle which they worked so hard to create is exactly what's landed their kids in an institution. Their days are now spent with a court-appointed teacher or riding their bikes inside the foster home fence.
It seems like a circus, and we are watching some animals inside a cage.
Even hardened reporters like Claudio Giambani have struggled covering this extraordinary story.
I have to say that sometimes some tears drop down my face.
Di un paese che non aveva capito, Nathan e Catherine.
He says Italian audiences can't get enough of the drama, and ratings have skyrocketed.
What was it that was so fascinating, do you think? Was it the toilet, the lack of running water, or was it the homeschooling?
The white horse.
The white horse?
Yes, because the white horse began a sort of icon of these families. And this house was so tiny, and they didn't have anything, but they had this wonderful horse. And everyone in Italy always say they had this amazing white horse, and they can live even in that way, but they are happy. We saw in their eyes their happiness.
The final hurdle for Catherine and Nathan is an ongoing psychological assessment, which could take months.
Do you think the family will be reunited?
In my opinion, the family will be reunited, and after a week, this family will fly away. Because they don't want any kind of influence in their lives, and because they want to live off-grid, they want to be free, and they can't be free.
Will you stay in Italy?
We would like to.
No.
We would like to.
You're not so sure?
If the children are safe here?
Unless I know that our children are never going to be subjected to this ever again.
Would you come back to Australia? Is that an option?
Can't take Lee, so that's not an option.
Can't take the horse.
I know, he's too old now to fly again.
So what options are you left with?
Europe.
And you would start all over again?
Well, yeah, we would start all over again, yeah.
Having spent several days in Catherine and Nathan's world, there's no doubt they're loving parents, intent on giving their children what they strongly believe is the best start in life. But Italian authorities see things very differently.
I just feel empty inside, full of sadness, and they don't deserve what's happening to them. They don't deserve it.
Exactly. They've had everything you could possibly give them in that place, and all they want, everything they say to his mummy, I just want to go home and live like we lived before.
The case is so unusual and so highly publicised that it's put the spotlight on how much freedom is too much when it comes to raising children.
You are at the mercy of the Italian system.
This is why I wanted to make sure that the world is watching our kids. Because if anything happens, I want them to know who our children are. And there is a huge amount of love in the Italian person, and I am banking on that.
As we mentioned, whether the children will be returned to their parents is currently being considered by an Italian court. But frustratingly, there's no indication of when a decision will be announced. On this week's 60 Minutes podcast, Extra Minutes, why this case is attracting so much attention in Italy and why even our visit made headlines.
The story is so big.
Claudia kind of descended on us and was telling us all about the story. He was so excited that Australian media had come from the other side of the world.
The Italian media became fascinated with us.
Yeah. That's Extra Minutes, available now on the 60 Minutes Australia YouTube channel.